Hi, my name is Darrell Barnes, and I want to read a couple of Bible passages, one from Judges 13 and then one from Hebrews 13. Listen to this. Then Manoah prayed to the Lord, saying, Lord, please let the man of God come back to us again and give us more instruction about this son who is to be born. What's kind of interesting is an angel of the Lord had appeared to his wife. It was a time in the history of the Israelites when there were no kings. It was a time after they had colonized the promised land, but the Israelites were not obedient, and God gave them over to other peoples. In this case, it was the Philistines. And so Manoah's wife was barren. She did not have any children, and so God was looking upon her and was giving her some information about what was going to happen and what to do in the case of the birth of her son, which eventually would be Samson. Verse 9, and move on through the chapter. God answered Manoah's prayer, and the angel of God appeared once again to his wife as she was sitting in the field. But her husband Manoah wasn't not with her, so she quickly ran and told her husband, the man who appeared to me the other day is here again. Interesting. Manoah ran back with his wife and asked, Are you the man who spoke to my wife the other day? Yes, he said, I am. A little bit interesting here because in the New Testament, the great I am happens to be Jesus Christ. And so this kind of makes you wonder just a little bit if Jesus moved through time years before to redeem the Israelites, even before he ultimately did. So Manoah asked him, when your words come true, what kind of rules should govern the boy's life and work? The angel of the Lord replied, be sure your wife follows the instructions I gave her. By the way, this is the third set of instructions, which are all about the same. She must not eat grapes or raisins, drink wine or any other alcoholic drink, or eat any forbidden food. By the way, forbidden food would include things forbidden for the Israelites, but also eating food from dead things, which Samson later did. Remember, he took honey from the carcass of a lion. Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, please stay here until we can prepare a young goat for you to eat. I will stay, the angel of the Lord replied, but I will not eat anything. However, you may prepare a burnt offering as a sacrifice to the Lord. Manoah didn't realize it was the angel of the Lord. Then Manoah asked the angel of the Lord, what's your name? For when all this comes true, we want to honor you. Why do you ask my name? The angel of the Lord replied. It is too wonderful for you to understand. Something else that comes to mind as I read through this is, isn't it interesting how that sometimes in our lives that we just have this innate sense we know deep down inside that something special is happening. And in this case, Manoah had the good sense in his head to pray and say, would you send this guy back again? We want to talk to him again. Another lesson that I get out of this already is that just because Manoah had the question does not mean that God gave the answer. And some of the answers to some of our prayers are a non-answer or a no. In this case, a no. Or in this case, maybe just maybe that's not what's most important for us to think about right now. Why do you ask my name? The angel of the Lord replied. It's too wonderful for you to understand. Then Manoah took a goat and a grain offering and offered it on a rock as a sacrifice to the Lord. And as Manoah and his wife watched, the Lord did an amazing thing. As the flames from the altar shot up toward the sky, the angel of the Lord ascended in the fire. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell with their faces to the ground. Unbelievable. For just a moment, I want to flip over to Hebrews and read a scripture from Hebrews for just a minute. Listen to this. This is in the New Testament. Keep on loving each other as brothers and sisters. In verse 2, don't forget to show hospitality to strangers. For some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. I think Manoah and his wife realized that something special was happening. But what's kind of interesting is even with all this, Manoah doubted. Continuing on, it says the angel did not appear again to Manoah and his wife. Manoah finally realized it was the angel of the Lord, and he said to his wife, "We will die. We've seen God." But his wife said, "If the Lord were going to kill us, he wouldn't have accepted our burnt offering and grain offering. He wouldn't have appeared to us and told us this wonderful thing and done these miracles." Beautiful. So his wife consoled him. Beloved and beautiful tasks to console each other, to encourage each other. Manoah's wife did a job of that. Beautiful. Verse 24 of Judges chapter 13. When her son was born, she named him Samson, and the Lord blessed him as he grew up. So, for just a minute, I'd like to go back and review some of the things that happened. Several times this angel gave instructions to Manoah's wife. It was a Nazirite vow, and apparently what's kind of interesting about it is that Samson wasn't going to be a Nazirite from birth. He was going to be a Nazirite from the womb, because the angel had asked her to begin respecting these ideas while she was pregnant. So be careful, you must not drink wine or any other alcoholic drink. No raisins, no grapes. Interesting. When I think about these passages from Judges and I think about these passages from Hebrews, I think number one is that God is not short at taking care of us. He's not short at taking care of his people. Sometimes he will choose some of the most unlikely people. A woman who was without child, chosen to give birth. Kind of sounds familiar. Sounds like Hannah, who gave birth to Samuel. Another thing that comes to mind is living in the moment. When the thing comes in front of me today and I've got something else on my mind, do I take time and deal with it? Do I take time and enjoy the moment? Or am I looking for something tomorrow, or something the next day, one day at a time? I think it was neat that Manoah prayed and he asked for a confirmation. What's the next indicated step again? Angel came back, and not only did he come back, but he blessed Manoah and his wife. He accepted their sacrifice, and he ascended to heaven inside of a flame. Wow. God does that kind of thing in our lives sometimes. Sometimes he intersects other people into our lives, and we get the blessing through other people. And sometimes, as with Manoah's wife, the blessing came through his wife. She encouraged him and said, God wouldn't have done all of these good things for us if he was planning to wipe us out. Remember that. One day at a time, brothers and sisters. Judges 13 and Hebrews 13. A couple of things before I finish this Judges 13 and Hebrews 13 passage. Remember that I'm reading from the Life Recovery Bible, and in the area below the video there will be the page numbers listed. So look for that. And also another interesting picture is a picture of my mom and dad. This is when they were married. My mom's feeding my dad some wedding cake. Wonderful, lovely people. I thought this would be a good one to show, since the passage of Judge 13 talks about Manoah and his wife, right? The plight of parents. What do we do next? Another thing I want to encourage you about with my dad, he would say to you, stop and smell the roses. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. These studies that I'm doing originated from my dad's King James Version. And in this passage, he had cheerily highlighted angel, angel, angel over and over. He had actually not bracketed anything, hadn't made any comments in this section, but he had just noted that the word angel kept reappearing. And so I thought that would be kind of an interesting thing for us to look at today. God bless you.